Something massive is brewing at Tesla. And no one is paying attention to this, but Elon Musk has just confirmed massive news by saying that Tesla's 4680 cell is now the lowest cost per kilowatt hour in the world. This has huge implications because not only Tesla is now able to undercut competitors even easier, but this basically essentially guarantees that no one else is going to be able to catch up to Tesla when it comes to price. And just think about how big of a thing this actually is. There are companies, all they do, they just make batteries, and yet Tesla does a gazillion things and is now able to produce batteries cheaper than anyone else in the world. Now, of course, Tesla will still need to scale this production, but it's already sort of getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and now there's a clear path forward. So for the longest time, so many investors of Tesla stock have been upset with the 4680 development, but I think things are turning around now. And in the last 12-ish, 18 months, we have seen quite a few rumors about 4680 cells being much cheaper in terms of cost. Supposedly Tesla had breakthroughs, and I think they are now coming to fruition, so this is great news. After yesterday, everyone is focused on the Tesla bot, but you know, Nvidia, a company that's absolutely massive, well, Tesla has now a thing that is somewhat competing with Nvidia, and it's called Dojo. And the first version is active in New York and Palo Alto and handling about 10% of the FSD training load currently. And Dojo 2 is on the way and will be 10 times better versus Dojo 1. And Elon Musk says that Tesla has a real shot at a breakthrough with Dojo. And I think a lot of investors, when they hear the Tesla bot, they just say, well, this is just too good to be true. This is too big. This is never going to happen. So they don't pay attention to it that much. Because if the Tesla bot happens, then basically our whole society is going to change so much that it's going to be unrecognizable. However, it is not too hard to understand and visualize what would happen if Tesla succeeds with Dojo. I mean, look at Nvidia. It has a market cap of almost $3 trillion. So if Dojo really succeeds, adding $1 trillion to Tesla's market cap, mostly just because of Dojo, I don't see that as something that, that's definitely not going to happen ever. And after what Elon Musk shared yesterday, I believe that the chances of Dojo actually succeeding in a big way have definitely increased. And I think a lot of people are thinking that Elon Musk is not really paying attention to Tesla. However, how can you look at this and say he's not paying attention? Elon wants to experiment with much larger gigacasting machines, potentially up to 50,000 tons from 9,000 currently. And then there was one more big moment, actually. It was closer to the end of the meeting, so many people completely missed this. Elon said, I would love to make airplanes, but I'm stretched pretty thin. I have like 17 jobs. But then later in the talk, he said that Tesla has basically all the components needed to make an airplane. So I am convinced at this point, if Tesla ever gets stuck with product development, or if its product line becomes stale and people aren't buying the cars as much or other products that Tesla makes, I am convinced that Tesla then would certainly enter the airplane industry. And if Tesla enters this industry, I am pretty sure that Tesla would add more market cap to its stock than however much Airbus and Boeing are valued at, because I'm pretty sure that Tesla would figure out some new efficiencies that have never been really fully implemented and executed. So I would consider that a bit as a side project for Elon, or as an insurance policy if somehow, for some really weird reason, things don't work out as well as they have been planned. Tesla has already proved that it can certainly enter a market and then electrify it. So this would be just doing the same thing, but again, in a different industry. And in the long term, I certainly agree with Elon. You will want to hold on to your stock. I believe it is going to $1,000 for sure, and then well above it. Today, it's up, even though as I'm recording this video, the markets are down slightly. So this is actually pretty good for Tesla. And there's so much more big news. Let's go through everything that's really important. Elon has announced that Tesla has built its first Optimus humanoid robot at the new pilot production line at its Fremont factory. And this is important too. Elon has announced that the new Optimus hand with 22 degrees of freedom and new forearm is now in production. Remember, prototypes are easy, but production is actually pretty hard. And Tesla is starting to make 5,000 robots this year, so they reiterated that. But they have enough supplies to actually make at least double that, Elon said. And Elon also said that Tesla Optimus will be the biggest product of all time. He says it will be 10 times bigger than anything else, and that Tesla would eventually perhaps even make 100 million robots per year each year. Elon says a Tesla Cybercab will roll off the production line every 5 seconds, which compares to every 35 seconds for a Model Y. Now imagine if Tesla takes everything that they are going to be doing with Cybercab and then they apply that to all other vehicles later, including the Model Y, and they start rolling off Model Ys every 5 seconds instead of every 35 seconds. Do you think that would make Tesla's margins better? Of course it would. And we also saw Kathy Wood buy more Tesla stock. She bought almost 10,000 shares. And this is pretty massive. The US Attorney General has announced charges against 3 individuals responsible for the violent destruction of Tesla properties. And this part will definitely help to reduce the probability of anything like this ever happening again or at this scale. Each defendant faces a minimum penalty of 5 years and up to 20 years in prison. That's a long time. The Attorney General warns if you join this wave of domestic terrorism against Tesla properties, the Department of Justice will put you behind bars. Now, sadly, there were some more attacks against Tesla. These were not good. And Elon said, has there ever been such a level of coordinated violence against a peaceful company? I understand not wanting to buy a product, but this is extreme arson and destruction. If there are going to be more bigger attacks, I think, of course, that would affect Tesla stock negatively, but I would load up a lot more on Tesla stock. And in the long term, I don't think we will look back to 2025 and say, oh, you know, these protests and violent attacks against Tesla, they actually destroyed the company. No, I think it will just be a short moment of time during which we were presented with an even bigger Tesla stock buying opportunity, just like what happened at the end of 2022. When Tesla stock was close to $100 per share for just a brief moment. And I remember people saying, oh, if Tesla stock goes to $100, I'm going to load up a lot more on Tesla stock. And then these same people, when the stock dropped, they panicked and panic sold. And then the stock went back up and they regretted, but they bought at a higher price now. Don't be one of those people. Jim Cramer is bullish about Tesla. It doesn't matter where you bought something. It matters where it's going. The stock has been cut in half. It's going to be a narrative about humanoids and about self-driving, so you're fine with that. And I know a lot of people make fun of Jim Cramer, but actually when he was managing a hedge fund, his returns were wild. He produced 24% average annual returns over 14 years. Dan Ives is also quite bullish. We have never been more bullish on Tesla's future with autonomous FSD Optimus, he says. However, he does have some concerns. I personally, the way I view Dan Ives is he's pretty good at feeling the sentiment. So if you're concerned about the short term, I think he's a pretty good guy to look at in terms of to understand what the sentiment around the stock is. And he is one of the bigger Tesla bulls, at least on Wall Street he is. So he continues here, that's a Musk brand damage. DOGE globally is taking on a life of its own. Only one person can fix this for the future of Tesla. It's Musk. Now is the time in this moment of truth for Musk and Tesla. Well, Dan Ives was also extremely loud protesting against Elon's Twitter acquisition. I think that turned out just fine. And I think here we are going to be just fine too. Dan Ives, by the way, still has a price target for the next 12 months for Tesla of $550. He continues, Tesla becoming a political symbol is a bad thing for Tesla, Musk, customers, shareholders. It's that simple, and brand reputation is key, as we discussed on CNBC. We remain firmly bullish, but this current Tesla brand crisis situation is not sustainable. Musk needs to lead. Well, Elon is leading. Tesla is making progress with FSD. Tesla now has the lowest cost for producing 4680 batteries in the whole world. Tesla potentially is going to have a breakthrough with Dojo. And if you look at Elon's track record of predictions, while not every single prediction comes to fruition in the time frame that he says it would happen, more often than not, eventually things actually turn out widely well for Elon Musk. He's making so many. The Tesla bot is going to be the biggest product. Tesla is going to solve full self-driving. There's a good chance that there's going to be a breakthrough with Dojo. Elon is even interested in making airplanes. Elon is really bullish on Tesla's energy business, so the mega packs, and there are factories that are going to be built, scaling Tesla's energy business further. Elon is making so many predictions here that even if just half of them actually become true, the value of Tesla stock is going to soar. On top of all these predictions, he's also saying that Tesla is going to be the most valuable company in the world, probably. So actually, you don't even need half of these predictions to come true for us Tesla stock investors to become extremely happy with the end result. Just take a third of Elon's big predictions and let's say that they are going to come true, but they are going to come true late. Even then, I think we would do extremely well. Now, this is also a bit interesting, but the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says, buy Tesla stock.
Buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again. When people understand the things he's building, the robots he's building, the technology he's building, people are going to be dreaming of today and Jesse Waters and thinking, gosh, I should have bought Elon Musk's stock. I mean, who wouldn't invest in Elon Musk? You got to be kidding. All right, so you're calling the bottom. This is it.
Morgan Stanley said on Jonas has cut his Tesla price target to $410, so it's $20 lower, due to lower estimated vehicle deliveries of 1.61 million for 2025, down from 1.92 million. It is not particularly narrative changing for our investment thesis because they are now focused on FSD and AI. RBC's Tom Narayan, who was one of the first people actually on Wall Street to realize that Tesla is going to make money from FSD in the long term, he's lowering his price target by a little bit. It's now sitting at $320. But when he first became a little bit more bullish about Tesla because of FSD, his projections were into like late 2030s and early 2040s. He's not thinking that Tesla is going to solve FSD anytime soon, really.
We believe these are organized. These are not individuals out there throughout the country doing this on their own. They're targeting Tesla owners. They're targeting Tesla dealerships. They're targeting Elon Musk, who is out there trying to save our country, and it will not be tolerated. We are coming after you. We will find you. And if you are an organized group who is funding this, we're going to find you too. You better look out and you better stop it.
So the Attorney General of the United States of America believes that these attacks have been organized and justice is coming for them. Now, interestingly, Tim Walz, who was running as vice president with Kamala Harris, who lost, Kevin O'Leary called him out. He said he's beyond stupid for hoping Tesla stock goes down. He made a public statement, Tim Walz did, hoping that Tesla stock goes down, but his own fund owns Tesla stock. Gerber, who unsuccessfully tried to get on Tesla's board because no one wanted him on the board, he calls for a new CEO again. This must have been, I don't know, tie number 3 or whatever that he has tried to do this, so I'm completely ignoring this. If he's going to call for Elon Musk to step down, I'm calling for him to step down from his own ETF because from inception, it generated minus 20% for his investors. And it's now been not quite 4 years, but we're getting there in July. It's going to be 4 years in July from the inception of his ETF. In the meantime, Tesla has produced insane returns for its investors. Even if you compare the same time frame when Gerber took his ETF public, yeah, Tesla actually still produced a positive return. It's not a lot, 14%, but that's better than minus 20. And also, typically, an ETF is supposed to be diversified. It's supposed to be consistent. But that ETF is underperforming the market. S&P 500 during the same time frame returned almost 30%. I'm going to take the recommendation of Elon Musk and I'm going to hang on to my Tesla stock. Yesterday night, we also got an update about the Tesla semi-factory. The Tesla semi-truck factory remains on track to complete construction this year. And we got an update on Tesla's Core-Tech supercomputer at Giga Texas, which is currently 50,000 GPUs and will soon be 100,000. At that point, it will be a top 5 global training cluster. And if you combine X with Tesla, basically no one can beat Elon when it comes to training AI. He just has more compute. And here's some good news. Seems like the production ramp of the new Model Y is going very smoothly at Tesla's Fremont factory, with many new Model Y spotted. And the Model Y is a bestseller in China last week, so that's good. Tesla sold 9,400 Model Ys in China last week alone, beating the number 2 place, which is at 8,800. Oh, and what's this? Possibly very big, says James. If they can pull it off, lower lower cost is needed to enable lower price, which is needed for Tesla to hit higher volumes. Cybertruck is too expensive for the vast majority of the market. This is from theinformation.com, which had some credible rumors before. Some of them were a bit questionable, but some of them actually turned out to be pretty accurate. Reportedly, there are plans to soon introduce long-awaited battery innovations in Cybertruck, which should greatly reduce manufacturing costs. And there are plans to introduce dry cathodes this year. If the price of the Cybertruck comes down, there's definitely going to be a lot more demand, no doubt about that. Okay, so this one is actually a physical recall, not a software update. Tesla has issued a physical recall for 46,000 Cybertrucks because the cantrail, a stainless steel exterior trim panel, can delaminate and detach from the vehicle, and Tesla, of course, will replace the cantrail assembly free of charge. When it comes to Tesla recalls, how often do they happen? Well, this is the number of vehicles potentially affected by a recall, but these include software updates. And if you look at the number of vehicles fixed at service center, it's actually really low compared to everyone else. Tesla is fixing millions of vehicles with OTA software updates. No one else is doing that. So sure, there's a problem with Cybertrucks, but compared to all other manufacturers, Tesla is just doing so much better. Oh, and watch out for Wednesday, March 29th. Tesla protesters are planning their biggest day of action yet, aiming for hundreds of demonstrations at Tesla showrooms, 500 to be specific, all over the world. So around then, we'll probably see a few headlines like this one. This happened on Wednesday. Over 80 Teslas were purposely damaged last night on Wednesday at the company's largest service center in Canada. Damage included deep scratches and punctured tires. This is not a delivery center, so it's likely that all the damaged cars were customer owned. I think definitely Sawyer is making sense at this point. Every single Tesla location should have 24-hour security guards until all this calms down, which eventually it will calm down. And yesterday, actually, Elon Musk has announced that Tesla has ramped up security and activated Sentry mode on all vehicles at stores. Sawyer and I also certainly fully support Tesla allocating funds for this. This certainly is catching my attention. Warren here said, great thread by Brett, Waymo is doing worse than I thought. And I know that Warren thinks that Waymo is doing terribly, so let's take a look what's happening. With robotaxis, Waymo's lack of scaling aggression has been an ongoing puzzle. Yes, their solution has trouble expanding into new geographies, but why not scale assets aggressively in the geographies they have mastered already? Well, the California CPU-C dataset offers some clues. When you have very expensive hardware, a lack of utilization kills your economics. A $150,000 robotaxi that can only generate revenue 25% of the time has roughly $1 per mile in depreciation expense alone. Waymo seems to do materially worse. The graph derived from CPU-C data combines two estimated data series, Waymo deadhead miles, quite dreadful. More than half of miles traveled are revenue less. And time waiting for a fare, also bad. Waymos spend more time waiting for somebody to flag them than they do driving. Since the vehicles presumably also spend some time charging, getting cleaned, and getting repaired, none of which are captured in these data, utilization rates are probably poorer than are presented here, but at least the cars are getting better at driving, right? Well, these data surprise me, says Brett Vinton. Note this is accidents inclusive of the remote operator network. We know that their critical intervention rate in their testing program runs at between 10 and 20,000 miles. One would expect that they would be getting better at driving over time. A charitable interpretation would be that they are opening up their operating envelope at an acceptable level of safety. On the other hand, other AI systems have improved by multiples, if not orders, over the course of the past year. That Waymo hasn't caught any of that benefit is probably indicative of the underlying weakness and fragility of its system. So here you can see Waymo miles between accidents, and you can see that it's a bit of a mixed bag. Now, these include all collisions, so could be that others are at fault, at least for a portion of those. And now we need to talk about this. So this is a Tesla Cybertruck doing an experiment that basically Mark Rober did, and this basically proves that the experiment that Mark Rober did needs to be redone. He used a hardware 3 Tesla, an old Tesla, and he also used Autopilot, which has really old software. FSD software is much newer and much better than Autopilot. And therefore, I don't consider Mark Rober's test to be valid actually. If he redoes it with the latest FSD software, hardware for vehicle, and he has someone either from Tesla or a Tesla stock investor or someone who is very familiar with FSD that is invested in Tesla, meaning that person has a vested interest in making sure the outcome is good, double checking that everything is actually done properly. If Mark Rober does a test like that and if then the result is not good, okay, I'll say, yeah, maybe it isn't good. But we can clearly see that Tesla system detected that this is a wall and did not go through it. Now, they also did a test with the Model Y, but it's not the latest FSD software and it's hardware 3. And that one did not perform that well. However, this wasn't even the latest V12 software. My Tesla on V12 software branch has a newer version, and that one performs much better than the one that this was on, at least from my personal experience. So if you want to test hardware 3, try the latest FSD software. Warren also points out something really important. Most won't appreciate this, but there's no training data with fake walls. And regardless of that, hardware 4 figures it out anyway. Omar posted something interesting. It turns out a lot of these violent attacks, he says, don't have anything to do with politics at all. They're being orchestrated by the same short sellers that have been trying to kill Tesla for the last 20 years now. And here's some good news. Sawyer has confirmed directly with the California Public Utilities Commission that Tesla has been granted the first in a series of approvals from California to operate robotaxis. So Tesla is up today, and I believe it is going to $1,000 per share, but there's one investment that I made that has actually been quite a bit better than Tesla. And that is investing into myself, going to events, learning, investing into my education, learning new skills, and networking also. And my younger brothers who are teenagers right now, they are twins. They look at the numbers that I'm doing and they want to know everything that I know about money. So I'm going to be teaching them during a 2-day event where I will share everything that I know about money. I really personally believe that the best investment that I have personally made was investing into myself, my skills, my knowledge, upgrading my education. And that's what I will do for my brothers, and you're welcome to come as well. There's a link down below. I'll see you there. And the next video that I will put out will probably be on Monday. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.